Hey everyone, it's Jordan. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I wished I've read this year. So, this year it's just kind of been hard for me to keep up with the new releases with me being a new mom. It's just kind of been, this year's just kind of been hard for me to balance motherhood and reading at the moment. I did not read as many books as I want to, so yeah, I picked out 10 books that I wished I've read this year, and yeah, let's get to the books that I wish I've read this year. So the first book that I wish I've read this year is Story of My Life by Lucy Score. This is supposed to be about an author who just dealt with a breakup, moving to a new town, and then she meets this contractor guy, I think. Yeah, a contractor. So yeah, I know I enjoyed Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. So this was a book that I was anticipating, even though I haven't read her other books, but I honestly didn't get a chance to read it. I hope one day that I will, because I love a bookish book, or a book about authors and stuff like that. I do hope in the future that I'll be reading this whenever I'm in the mood for it. Yeah, I know I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I know that hopefully one day I'll be picking this up. But this year that wasn't it for me. And the next book that I wish I've read this year is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven. This is a debut author, I think. I'm not quite sure. No, I don't think this is her debut, but this book I was anticipating because they said that someone recommended it. If you love The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue, you will love this book, and that was the case for me. And I did not read it this year for some reason, but I know that I love this Alacree edition, and I just haven't got a chance to read it. And like I said, this year has just been a very struggling year for me with reading wise, but I do hope to get to this whenever I can, because I know I'm still very interested in it, and especially when it's recommended for people who loves The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue, which is one of my favorite books of all time, and it's still my favorite by V. Schwab. So I really do hope to give this book a chance whenever I can, and yeah, hopefully I'm soonish, but I still feel bad for not getting to it this year. Sorry about that. So, someone was calling me, but the next book that I wish I've read this year is Battle of Bookstores by Ali Brandy, and this is supposed to be like a You've Got Mail sort of book, but it looks like it's between two people that have two independent bookstores, as far as I know. I was reading a book back in the summer that's supposed to give some kind of vibes like You've Got Mail, but in YA, and I got disappointed with that book, and that's what I was looking for at the time. And this was the book that I was like, okay, this better be better than the one that I've previous read, but then I didn't get a chance to read it. But I do hope one day I would read it, because I know a lot of times romances help me get out of reading slumps, and it's just, again, this year's just been a struggle for me, and I do hope to get to a lot of these books as soon as possible. So yeah, I really feel bad for this one, seeing as You've Got Mail is one of my favorite movies, and I just love reading books that reminds me of one of my favorite movies. And the next book that I feel bad not reading, and I don't own this one, which is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's supposed to be a historical fiction that's about astronauts, and that's all I know about it. I know that Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my favorite authors. I know Daisy Jones and the Six is my favorite of hers still, and same with Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So yeah, I do hope to read more of her books. I know I liked Malibu Rising, and Carrie Soto is back, so I do want to read Atmosphere at some point, but it's kind of hard to get reserved from my library, because I know it's a new release, and it's very popular, and Taylor Jenkins Reid is a very popular author right now, so it's kind of hard for me to get a hold of that book, because I do want to listen to it on audiobook, because for most of her books, I've listened to them on audiobook, but I know that Taylor Jenkins Reid is my favorite, so I know that I'm in line to get the audiobook, because I know it was available for me, but then I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold off just because I'm not in the mood for it at the moment, so I'm hoping once it's available, I will listen to the audiobook as soon as possible. And the next book that I feel bad for not reading this year is The Forest King's Daughter by Ellie Blake. This is the same author as the Frostblood Saga, and I love that series so much, and hearing that she wrote a new book, I'm just very excited about it, and I heard there's going to be a duology, and it makes me want to read it even more, and all I know about it, it's a YA fantasy series, and that's all I know about it, and I've just been wanting to read this just because I love the series that the author previously wrote, and I want to read more from her, and I just really love this cover, and I'm just really feel bad for not reading it, because it was another most anticipated release for me, and I know that I've just been very bad at reading new releases for the past few years, and I do hope to get my copy of the sequel, which I forgot what it's called. It has Queen in the title. I can't remember the title at the moment, but I hope to get that so I can binge read the duology. I think it's going to be a duology, but I'm not quite sure. But either way, I do hope to get my copy on the sequel so I can just read the entire series. And the next book that I wish that I've read this year is Solving for the Unknown by Lone Lee. This is the same author as A Faux Love Story, which I really love. And this one, I don't know what's about. I just want to read another book from this author, and yeah, I don't know much about it, and I feel bad just because I know I liked her previous book, and it's just been really hard because I know that I start to like a lot of authors, and I end up buying a lot of their books, and then I end up not reading them for some odd reason. But I know I do want to pick this up soon, just because I've read A Faux Love Story, but yeah, again, what my book buying at the moment, I've been buying books that are from from authors that I previously liked, or the ones that I end up enjoying that they were a new author to me, and then I end up buying their books. So yeah, it's been challenging for me, but I know that, and plus I know that I do enjoy YA, but I've been trying to gravitate towards more adult books lately, but I think I've been very pickier with YA lately, so I still hope to pick this up. I don't know when, but I just hope that soon I'll pick this up whenever I'm in the mood for it. And the next book that I wished I've read this year, which is Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reid. This is the same author as A Study in Drowning, which I really, really enjoyed, and I know that there's a sequel to it that just came out this year, and I wished I've also read this year. And this one's very interesting, because I know she's more known to write fantasy, but I think this is a dystopian as far as I know, but it looks like it's dystopian fantasy, but it's really hard to tell because it doesn't have much of a plot in it, like say what the book's about. So that's all I know about it, and I just really like the cover. But again, I wished I've read this book, but I know I should look up the plot of it, just because I only know the genre that this is. So yeah, I honestly feel bad for not knowing much about it, other than it's a dystopian fantasy from what I've guessed. But I know I do want to read more books by her, because I really enjoyed A Study in Drowning so much. So I do hope to pick this up, and I know that I just was gifted Lady Macbeth for Christmas from my parents, so I need to figure out like what books are more of a priority for me. And I haven't read a dystopian in like many years, so like since Ready Player One, that's pretty much the last dystopian that I remember reading. But yeah, either way, I do hope to I feel bad for not picking this up either way. The next book, I am very ashamed for not reading this book this year because this author is one of my favorite authors and I didn't pick this up. And it is What a Fairy Brings by Tricia Levenseller. This is her first adult fantasy novel and I feel bad for not reading it. And this is, again, this is a romance between a warrior princess and some kind of prince. And that's pretty much all I know about it. I love her books, so that's why I rarely look up the plot of her books, because she's one of my favorite authors. And I know that Daughter of the Pirate King series is still my favorite, and The Shadows Between Us duology is also my favorite of hers, and I just feel bad for not picking this up. And it's such a beautiful edition that I pre-ordered specifically for me to read this year, and I feel bad for not picking it up because she's one of my favorite authors, and I feel so bad too. So it's like, what am I gonna do? Other than shame on me. So I know I do want to read this book. I just need to be in a mood for it, and again, I love this author's writing and her other books, so I really do hope to pick this up before she comes out with a new book, because again, I feel so terrible for not picking this up sooner than later. Another book that I'm ashamed of not reading this year, because another favorite author of mine, which is Stephanie Garber with The Alchemy of Secrets. I honestly love this edition, this Owl Crate edition, and I prefer this over the original cover. And again, this is her first adult fantasy novel, and I feel so terrible. And this is supposed to be like a historical adult fantasy book, and I don't know much about it other than those genres, and I honestly feel bad for not knowing the synopsis, but it's just, when I like a certain author, I want to read more books by them, and I feel bad for not reading them immediately. So I know that I feel bad for not picking this up as much as What Fairy Brings by Tricia Levenseller. So yeah, I wish I would pick these up sooner than later, and I still feel bad, and I feel ashamed. And the last book that I feel bad for not reading this year, which is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. Like I mentioned, she's becoming one of my favorite authors, even though The Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue is still my favorite from hers. But I know I have another book on my TBR that I still haven't read yet. But I still feel bad, and this is a Bookish Box edition. I just prefer this one over the original cover, even though I like the original cover. But this is just, I just love the artwork, and again, I feel bad for not reading it, especially when I have another book by her that I haven't read yet. And but I know that this is a adult fantasy with vampires, so that's all I know about it. And what the heck is wrong with me? I have no idea. But other than I'm being a mom and prioritizing my time with my son and try to read as much books as I can. And I do hope for next year that I'll figure out how to read more and be a mom. So, but yeah, out of all the books, I do feel bad not reading these books this year. So that is all for all the books that I wished I've read this year. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and comment down below what 2025 books that you wish that you've read this year, because I would like to know. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. Also, you can follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, which are all links will be down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!